You're listening to Cards to the Moon, a podcast about trading cards from both a collector and investor perspective. We hope you'll stick around for the ride as we take a deep dive into the state of the hobby, share some hot takes, hopefully some useful advice, and fun stories along the way. Hey guys, welcome back to Cards to the Moon. This is episode 142. My name is Clark from 5 Card Guys on Instagram and 5cardguys.com. With me co-hosting is John, who is Trade You at Recess. And if you missed Friday's episode, we mentioned that Hyung is away for a couple of weeks in New York City for a baseball tournament. But not to worry, Will, our good friend, is back to fill in. So we're ready to go. And off the top, I want to start the show with a simple question. From a scale of 1 to 10, what is your FOMO level now on Shohei Ohtani baseball cards? And before you answer, here are some stats I want you to hear for context. All right. As of this recording, Shohei is leading the league in home runs with 24. So he'll probably have a few more by next week when this show airs. He's also batting .292 with 10 stolen bases, a 5.1 WAR this season already. And on the pitching side of things, he's third in the number of strikeouts with 117. And he has a respectable 3.13 ERA, and he has 1.04 WHIP, which makes him number 7 in the league. So yeah, well, why don't you start with this one? Where's your FOMO level at, and are you going to buy soon?
My FOMO level is 37 out of 10. I'm just like... Every day, like when I look through all the cards and on eBay and Facebook, it's amazing. Like in Facebook groups, everyone's always like, "Oh, looking for Shohei and paying comps." It's like, yeah, of course you are. We all are. Like everyone's trying to, and then like some people are like trying to look for deals. Like, oh, like I ripped this box and I have a Austin Meadows rookie auto, willing to trade for Shohei. It's like, okay, like. So I mean, I think the whole world has FOMO.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna buy any Shohei stuff. I don't actively search for Shohei anymore, just because it makes me sad because I know you should not buy it, and I know yes. I won't buy it. So unless I'm able to get like some crazy trade where I can trade away some stuff, I'm probably never gonna get into a Shohei. Other than the short print Shohei that I do currently own. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm very similar to Will. I don't know if it's FOMO because I don't believe I have FOMO. Maybe a little bit. I just have a lot of regret because earlier before the season, I had a lot of like. Currently, I'm like Will. I don't have any. I'm not watching any Shohei cards on eBay. I basically deleted them all. Maybe I'm a bit sad, but previously I was watching quite a bit, and like you guys knew that I was always looking for the Topps US1 SSP, right? The one where he's like batting and it looks like he's sort of like fouling the ball and looking upwards towards the sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had been watching that since for a while now, at least about 18 months, and it went as low as I think on bids like $11.50 USD, and I don't know what it's at now. I'd assume it's probably back up to $3,000-$4,000. But yeah, I have regret. I'm like, I knew that at that time. I mean, I didn't really have the cash to spend, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I should be jumping on this if I really want this card. And you know, like all of us, you're just when the market is that bare, you just kind of think to yourself, I think it can go to 950. Like, I think there's a little bit more to go. And you just you get a little bit greedy, or you tell yourself, no, this is not the time to spend. Like, I think there's another chance. And I feel like I missed out. And now it's, I don't know if it's FOMO anymore. It's just too expensive. So it's like, I don't know, do you guys, I had a question for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys feel like this is kind of related, I guess, to one of the, listeners had a question last week or a couple of weeks ago. But do you think that Shohei's ceiling is this now, like card wise? Because every player, no matter how amazing Shohei is and it ends up winning Cy Young and he wins MVP, I think that'll obviously spike. But if he continues to win MVP or is in the running every year, he's gonna become like Luka or like, the Joker, where
Right.
yeah, it's great you're doing this and you're awesome, but where are the rings? Like, where's the championships? Where's the playoff performances, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like there may be like a ceiling to like his hype until, like Luka, until you start showing that you can win something, right? Like Joker finally kind of went over the edge in terms of, his card prices, because people find like, yeah, he can win. Like, he's proven that not only is he multiple MVPs, he's actually winning. And now I have confidence that he is a winner. So I'm going to start putting money into this player, right? So it was just a thought that I had as I was thinking about this question.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think we're pretty close to the top. Like we're,
Right.
and I guess for me to answer, like my FOMO is probably a 37 too, like Will, right? But and you know what? My regret level's at a 37 as well. Like, so it's on both scales. I'm hurting, but it's always that thought where you either, unlike you guys, I'm still looking. It's on my safe search list, right? And it's kind of depressing every day, just to see like, oh, a new card came up, and you're like, oh my gosh, $7,000, it's like, it's just ridiculous, and now I don't even get excited when I see like the blue
The
circle.
dot, yeah.
The dot when it's like a new listing is up, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's expensive still, right? And so I'm still hoping like, oh, maybe there's a dip or someone priced it too low, which never happens.
Yeah.
And then even if you get it, you're like, yeah, how much further can it go up? Like there's got to be a couple of things that could make it go up. Winning the MVP. And then, winning the World Series or getting into the playoffs. They, believe it or not, the Angels are only like a half game out of the playoff spot. So,
Right.
so yeah, there's a chance, but banking on those two things, I don't think it's wise to think that getting in now and flipping it, in the event of those two rare, potential events are probably unlikely to happen. So you're going to probably lose. So, FOMO level's high, but like you guys, I have enough discipline not to pull the trigger on anything. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like it seems like every week. What was the last one? Shohei struck out 12 Dodgers, but the Angels lost 2-0.
Yeah.
It's like it's like the same old story, with the Angels, and I think it's inevitable that Shohei's going to go to the Dodgers. Either this season or next.
See, so that's why I think what John is saying, I don't think it's the peak because
of the trade.
Because of the trade.
Potential.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Yeah, I don't believe he'll stay in Anaheim. There's no reason for him to stay there, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
like he's not at like like by the end of it he might be the GOAT. Right? Like we are witnessing potentially the greatest player of all time. Which means the value of his cards right now are nothing compared to what they're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years time. Now, obviously, if we're talking like base refractor and pink refractor, it's like useless. Like I just looked up while you guys were talking. I had a Shohei pink Topps Chrome. It was like number 150, PSA 10, and I sold it at the peak for like 1,100 Canadian.
Damn.
I just looked.
Okay.
I just looked it up now, and it just last sold was 500 US. So that's like 650 Canadian or something like that.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, with Shohei's hype increasing, it hasn't really like gotten back to like the peak levels, but if you're like on those lower pop parallels, then they got to be underpriced. I think in 20 years time, if you're holding like a gold refractor, you're gonna be happy because you're gonna have the GOAT.
That's what I was saying. The that time, I think he had a 1v1 with the red pitching out of 5.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
I truly believe like that is it could easily become $1 million card. Easily.
Yeah.
That is that's the biggest card out there other than the Superfractor, right?
Yeah.
Which one's that? The Bowman Auto one?
The Bowman Auto.
That one's so beautiful. Where he looks like a crane.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Yeah. Where he's like tipped over.
Yeah. But I think in that 1v1, I think my point still stands. Like, there is a scenario where he gets hurt and then things come crashing down. For sure. Right?
Right.
We're looking at the upside, and when Will is like painting this picture, like, oh, it could go 5, 10x these rare cards, and I was kind of getting, my FOMO was increasing as he was talking. Right. I was past 40 now at this point, and but then a lot of things can happen, even within 5 years. So
yeah,
his body though, like his body is. Like
he's a beast. Yeah. He's a monster.
But what happens? For sure. He has to get Tommy John, and he can't be a pitcher anymore. So he turns out to be like the greatest right fielder of all time, who still drops 50 bombs every year. Like,
right. But like Exhibit A is like, Fernando Tatis and Ja Morant, right? Like these unstoppable hobby forces, and something happens, right? Either it was like drug suspension or like waving a gun on. Not to say that that's something that Shohei may do, but the point is that with current players, anything could happen. It is not a bulletproof situation.
Right. While you're saying that, I was just picturing Shohei with flashing his gun on his IG. It's highly unlikely, but well, we'll see. We'll see. It's fun. Although we're FOMOing hard, it's fun seeing Shohei making history, and I'm really excited to see what he can do for the rest of the season. Yeah. All right, with that, let's move on to hobby headlines. So if you haven't heard already, there are some posts on social media that Fanatics/Topps is essentially restricting any Topps account holders so that they can only sell their allocation of products directly to consumers in a physical retail bricks and mortar store. Which means, it means they're not allowed to resell them online, or how most are seeing this is that those top accounts holders can't use the product they receive for breaks unless approved by Topps, right? So as you can imagine, there's been a lot of talk and comments about this online. So what I want to do is I'm going to lay out 3 of the main scenarios that collectors think might happen because of this. And you guys tell me which you think is likely to happen, or maybe it's a combination of the following, or maybe none of the above. And if you have another scenario to add, we'll have that discussion. So let me start with scenario 1, which is hobby and jumbo box prices will go down in price since they can only be sold at local bricks and mortar stores, which in turn would then help local card shops increase in business. All right, so I've seen some of those comments that, this is good for LCS, what Fanatics is doing. They can't just flip it online and make as much money. They got to sell it to their, local customers. Scenario 2, it's kind of the opposite. More local card shops will actually result in a loss of revenue since they no longer have the option to use their allocation for breaks. Maybe some of these LCS are using breaks to make money, right, in this day and age. And now if that option is taken away, they're going to lose money, lose revenue that way. All right. And scenario 3, one of the more common ones I saw in the comments, Fanatics Live is going to be a huge success as it will ultimately be the one platform that can break Topps products. So those are the 3 scenarios I saw the most. I don't know if you guys have any more, but what do you guys think about this whole restriction and what it might look like for the hobby in the next year?
This is big news, man. I'm going to go with a combination of option 2 and 3 local card shops are going to get hurt due to allocation, and obviously Fanatics is going to benefit. When we talked about Fanatics first taking over, Clark, I think that you, Hyung, and I mean, we mentioned brick and mortar and LCSs potentially, right. This could spell disaster, right? And then, the bigwigs up at Fanatics came out and said, we're all about collectors and we're all about the hobby and bringing everyone together. We're going to work with local card shops to make this a bigger experience, et cetera, et cetera. And lo and behold, you get this news, and from a business perspective, I understand it, right? They're trying to take control of all of their channels. Like they want to control it back, and they're trying to control their branding, right? So I get it from a business standpoint, but man, local card shops, you feel so bad. Like I think this is not good, right? Because when you think about the simple portion of a local card shop is everybody kind of knows if you want to get, like Upper Deck SP Authentic, right? For most of the Canadian shops, or like Bowman First would be obviously a big one in the States.
Yeah.
You can't just get crazy allocations. You got to kind of prove to Bowman and Topps or to Upper Deck that I'm a big shop and I spend big money. So you got to purchase, I don't know, Upper Deck Ultra, like 100 cases of Upper Deck Ultra, some crappy product. You got to get 100 cases of, I don't know, some other crappy Bowman product. And then that will allow them to start to consider you for a certain allocation, right? And it sucks because these local card shops, they've been trying to figure out creative ways to sell all of that junk that they didn't want in the first place. And whether it was through COVID, like online was obviously booming for these card shops, whether it was an online platform or going on a live break. Like live break is great because let's say you have 100 people in the room and you just go, okay, we're breaking Upper Deck Ultra. Who wants in for like $5 a spot? In the moment, you're gonna be like, yeah, okay, $5 again, I'm in, right? And then all of a sudden, boom, bang, boom, they're selling off all this product that it's usually crap, right? That they couldn't, for somebody, you and I, like walking into a local card shop, we're not gonna buy that stuff, right? So these card shops thought of creative ways to try to sell this stuff, and now Fanatics is taking it away for their own business reasons. And I think it's going to be really, really painful for them. It really sucks.
Yeah, I could see that. Well, you have another thought, or?
Yeah, I mean, like philosophically, it feels like there's this discussion of like, should we just allow the free market to just reign? Just, like John's saying, like people had to be creative on how they sold these products or how they made money. And, like all that innovation happens because they have that free market and they're just trying to figure things out and they're throwing spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks.
Right.
Yeah. Or that's not the phrase, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, it's like you see all these Instagram posts and articles about like another breaker just, taking out the gold auto, off camera and like all these kinds of things. And then so there's people who are screaming for more control or policing and stuff like that. And so like at the core of it, there's like this philosophical issue, and both sides like have valid arguments. Like I want somebody to be in control to make sure that everyone's being treated fairly and equally. And when I talk to some of our LCSs, they talk about how hard it is to get allocation, how unfair the system is, how they have to buy thousands of dollars of Space Jam blaster boxes in order to get one box or one case of NBA Prism.
Right.
They have to buy so much other garbage, and that's not fair. That's not right. That's not how business should be done. So I feel like there's a lot in the hobby for retailers on that side that has to be fixed, and the hope is Fanatics is doing that. So maybe there's some other channels or other ways that they're going to be good to LCSs. Right? Maybe they don't have to buy so much of the Space Jam stuff. Or I even saw like some Call of Duty boxes.
Oh man, okay.
Like, man, these like Call of Duty pro players, like I don't want their autograph card. Like that God. Sounds so awful. But anyway, like so maybe there's ways that they're gonna figure it out. I mean, it's still so gray, right? We don't know what their plans are. But there's definitely concerns, and the one concern that I have is, in my own personal life, I've been in leadership positions through different organizations or different things that I've participated in work-wise or volunteer-wise or just personally-wise. Like maybe you're planning a group vacation for all your friends. When you're the head, when you're the top, there's a lot of pressure. When you're the leader, like if you make a mistake, like that's on you. And now Fanatics is saying, hey, we are the leader. We are the global leader. We are the only ones who can make these decisions and who can fix the market and fix all of this. We're all looking at you now. This is what you wanted. This is what you got. And like, it's all on them now to not screw it up. So my hope is a lot of these concerns that we have are going to be answered and resolved. But yeah, like these options that you've presented, there are some concerns there.
Yeah. You know what I think? I think it's really early in the process, right? Like I'm sure this isn't the be all and end all. You know, they'll probably see what the feedback is, what some of the collectors think, what some of the local card shops think, and hopefully Fanatics takes all of that into account and adjusts accordingly, right? But yeah, you guys mentioned all the points that I had, right? Like, I think, me personally, I think scenario one, that jumbo box prices will go down or hobby box prices, that's kind of wishful thinking on behalf of the collectors that think that, like I don't believe it for one sec. And I think a lot of the local card shops that were innovating during the pandemic and they were doing more breaks, that is going to hurt them for sure. And Fanatics Live, like, I like the idea of Fanatics Live. Don't get me wrong, right? Like, that's a reputable breaker to go to. Like, people that have problems with breakers or like are worried about, breakers that have that you can trust. Fanatics Live, I'm sure, will be one platform where a lot of those collectors will flock to because they just trust in the brand, right? Maybe that's what Fanatics is doing, with this allocation. They're kind of almost, it's like a self-imposed regulation on breakers. They're making sure that whoever gets the allocation are doing a good job. So I could see that side of the argument. But yeah, like, it's kind of to brush everything with one paint brush or stroke or whatever the saying is, like
we're just butchering phrases today.
Well, yeah, I gotta see what the actual saying is, but you get what I mean. Like, it's so general that some stores are going to get hurt and others might adjust okay and do well. So I guess we'll see. And it's interesting because it's really, they only have the Topps products that they're talking about here. So I wonder what's happening with the Panini America breaks, like, will those start to thrive, I guess, because that's not being regulated so hard with the Topps product. All these other questions, all these other secondary questions. So yeah. And I also read like some comments saying, once stores get their allocation, once they buy it, Fanatics can't tell them what to do with it.
There's
right?
no way.
But I think the point is that Fanatics can say, okay, we're not going to sell to you anymore.
Exactly.
That's the concern, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was big news, but.
And there's more to this because it's not just the breaking, like we off air we're kind of chatting about. I was watching Neo Cards and Comics, his latest post, and he was talking about this. I didn't get to watch the whole thing, but I watched a bit of it. And there was an official release statement by Topps, and there are a number of line items that we're talking about, and we're only touching on one of 20.
True.
And there's even a section where they talk about like. They want local card shops to have a section where customers can break, like a breaking section, or or big enough space where card collectors can come and have a community or like a trade night or whatever, right? So they're even trying to control the experience. I get that, like the whole like quote unquote branding and experience. So they're trying to morph that as well. But at the same time, you can kind of see that they're trying to squeeze out those local card shops that are, dusty, small little pocket store that's, they got cards all up the wall and looks really messy. And they're basically trying to weed out the riffraff and just keep the local card shops that are big enough and flashy enough that kind of represent the sports card world in a bright light or whatever, right? So they're there's a lot that's happening here to unpack, but that was just a couple of things that kind of caught my eye.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, part of me doesn't disagree with that.
From a business standpoint for them, it makes all the sense in the world for sure. It's just kind of sad to think about.
I'm also thinking of some card stores here locally that probably should have shut down 10 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this might do the trick. So just so that us customers can get a better experience,
Right.
In local card shops.
Right.
Well, it'll be interesting to watch how this unfolds. You know, lots changing, of course, with the hobby, especially with Fanatics getting more involved. And I'm sure it's not the last of what we'll hear from Fanatics about this in particular and other things coming up. So we'll keep you guys apprised and in future podcast episodes. All right, let's go on to our next section then. And we're calling this Quiz Show. So we did this segment before, and it's simply, I kind of did some research, and I got like 4 or 5 quiz show type questions for you guys, all right? And I want to see how many you get right. Okay,
I'm excited. I played along when you did this. The first time with Hyung and John, and I remember one of your questions was like the first year of basketball.
Right.
And I'm in my car yelling, "It's 1948, guys!" Because because 1948 Bowman is like
the retro of DeMar, right?
They made the retro of the DeMar and the Steph Curry year.
Steph Curry.
I'm just yelling. Come on, guys! You know what it is. I talk about it all the time.
Oh. That's true. You would have definitely got that right. John and Hyung were like, It's a silence.
Is it O-Peachy? I don't know.
All right. Okay. I think this is fun for me too, because it was fun to research. This one's going to be more of a really simple question, almost a true or false type question. But on social media, this is question number 1. On social media, there's a photo of a Matt Thaiss Topps Chrome autograph rookie card. He is a rookie for the Los Angeles Angels. Okay. And this Topps Chrome autograph card, he inscribed, quote, "I am sorry that this is not Mike Trout." Did you see this card?
I saw it. Yeah.
You saw it? So the question is this card real or fake?
Oh, it's potentially fake?
I thought
took it as totally true.
This is a quiz show question number 1.
I'm going to say it's true. It was a real card.
I feel like it's true.
But now he's trying to trick us, so maybe he wants us to say it's false.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm sticking with true.
Oh, that's
okay.
Matt, what's this? How do you pronounce it? Thaiss or something like that, right? Thias.
Thiass.
Everything about it looks so Mike Trouty.
I wonder if he collects, because that was a thing. You know, like when you're in 2020 or whenever he was rookie, 2019. People would always...
And he has the same initials as Mike Trout.
Autograph looks almost similar. Yeah. And people would... I remember like seeing on breaks, people would be pulling it like, "Oh, is this a Mike Trout auto?" And then you're like, Matt Thaiss, like, "Oh, shoot, it's that guy again." Maybe he like caught on, or maybe somebody told him about it and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna inscribe that." It's pretty cool.
Yeah. We've seen inscribed cards with like Jordan Lawler and Benny Montgomery doing fun things like that too, right? All right, so you locked it in. Both of you say it's a real card.
Yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty cool. I'm hoping it is true.
Yeah. All right. The answer is it's a fake card.
No.
I totally thought it was real too at first, and then
who faked it?
Oh, I guess somebody just drew on it like with a marker.
Yeah, photoshopped or something.
Yeah.
Or I have no idea, but
that makes sense. Why would he have an auto card?
I mean, what do you mean? There's some, bench guys that have auto cards.
No, they don't.
Oh,
really?
I guess Ryu Hyunjin Ryu gets autos every year.
I guess of Topps Chrome, it's less likely to have autograph cards of lesser known players. Bowman Chrome draft is different. You're right.
Oh man, we got tricked.
All right. See, it's not as easy, eh, Will? When you're in the hot seat.
Yeah.
It's different. When you're in the car, no pressure at all.
Hyung's probably in his car right now just yelling. Like, come on. Come on, Will.
All right. Question number 2. This is from the Collectibles Guru on Twitter. Which two teams in the NBA never had any trading card of one of their players sell for more than $60,000? Okay, there's two NBA teams with players whose cards have never sold more than 60,000 players in the history of the team.
Washington Wizards.
Gosh.
Washington Wizards is not one of
Really?
them.
Oh, really?
What?
Who's buying a Wizards card?
Oh, is it a Jordan Wizards jersey? Damn it.
Possibly.
Oh, man.
I thought for sure Wizards too.
Yeah, you're on the right track. You got to think of teams that are usually not successful, right?
Like a Sacramento Kings?
They're not on that list.
Oh.
Toronto Raptors?
No, apparently there's been
Some good.
high-end sales for the Raptors. All right, I'll give you a clue. This is a big clue for the number one. The number two is kind of surprising, actually, but the first one, Paul George is the highest.
Indiana?
His national, yes, Indiana Pacers.
Wow.
Whoa.
His National Treasures logo man sold for $39,600. That was the highest.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And the second team, the highest sold price of this player is $36,000. He was a rookie. Was it last year or the year before? I think last year. He was a rookie last year, and he's the highest player. Yeah.
It's the Rockets?
Holy damn.
No, Jalen Green. You're on the right track.
Who was a rookie last year?
Think number one.
OKC?
No, think number one draft. We're talking about
Who's
draft.
drafted
Do you remember?
last year? I thought it was
Duke?
Chet. It wasn't Chet. Oh, Paolo?
Yes, Paulo Banchero.
Oh.
Orlando Magic. Is the other
Really?
team. Yeah, his gold prism rookie sold for $36,000.
Is there no
Probably that's the
Shaq?
highest.
Is there
Yeah,
no
there's no
Shaq
Shaq or
high
Penny?
end?
Yeah, but junk wax era,
Yeah.
even a
that's
PSA
right.
10.
That's
Yeah.
true.
All right, that was a hard one. Oh,
that's tough.
Quiz number 3. I don't know if we talked about this on air, John, but when we were talking about Luis Arias, he's batting 398
Yeah.
now, so he's climbing back up to 400 again. And I think we were talking off air actually, like who was the closest to hit 400 in the modern kind of
That's
baseball
right.
era.
That's right.
And number one was Tony Gwynn, 394 in the 1994 shortened season. So the question is, who was number 2?
John Olerud.
No,
Ah.
I think he finished at
Wait,
370 or
did
360.
we talk about number 2 last time?
Number 2, we didn't talk about number 2. We talked about the other guy we talked about was Ichiro. Was number 5.
Oh, it was number 5. We didn't talk about number 2. How far back are we going?
I'll give you his rookie year, 1975.
75.
This is like a young question.
Yeah, totally.
But you know the guy. You know the player.
Okay. 75.
I have no frame of reference for years before I was born.
Okay.
So they're all vintage. So I could be like Willie Mays, Pete Rose. They're all from the same timeline to me.
Reggie Jackson?
1975.
Not Reggie. No. All right. Here. This is a hard one too if you're not a baseball fan in that era. 1975, his Topps rookie card, Topps mini rookie card, PSA 10 sold for $41,000. He batted 390 in 1980, so 5 years into his career. He played for. This might be the clue that we'll give it away. He played for the Kansas City Royals.
Oh, George Brett?
George Brett. Yeah, batted 390 in 1980.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There you go. Hey, Luis Arias, he could do it.
I know.
He could do it this season.
Like, how many times has he gone 5 for 5? It's insane.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like when we watched that game just recently against Toronto, game 1 of the series, and we went 5 for 5, and I was just like watching his hits. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, I play Wednesday co-ed slow pitch softball, which is like the trashiest softball of all time, and I can't go 5 for 5. He's doing it against major league players and major league pitching.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's an accomplishment, that's for sure. All right. Okay, quiz show question number 4. According to gemrate.com, the top 4 players who have had their cards graded the most are, I'm going to give you these, okay? Michael Jordan is at number 1 with 1.2 million cards or so across all, across all grading companies. Number 2, Ken Griffey Jr. with 636,000. Number 3, LeBron James with 550,000 cards graded. Number 4 is Kobe Bryant with 477,000. So this is a question. Which of the following players is number 5 on that list? Okay? I'm going to give you, it's a multiple choice. So here we go. Which of the following? Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, or Derek Jeter?
I thought for sure it was going to be an NBA player. Jeter kind of... I'm going to go with Luka.
Luka, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be a COVID rookie basketball.
I was going to say Zion, so I was completely off base.
I think just the amount of ripping that happened. I'm going to say, because Luka started to get expensive and you can't rip. So let's say Ja Morant.
Oh, okay. All right. So I gave you 5, 6, and 7. Number 7 on that list was Derek Jeter. So you're right to rule him out. Number 6 was Luka Doncic with 327,000. So John was right here. Number 5 was Ja Morant, 363,000.
Is Zion number 8? Like Zion's got to be up there too.
He's got to be up there.
Yeah.
I'll double check,
Yes.
But yeah, I'm sure he's at least in the top 10 for sure.
My quiz record now is 1 for 10.
Yeah, that's, these aren't easy questions, that's for sure.
I'm 0 for 4.
And we only got that right because it was a multiple choice. We had no chance otherwise.
I'm the anti-Luis Arias.
All right. Last question for this quiz show episode. The NBA Finals are now done with the Nuggets being the world champs. I believe, Johnny, you and I predicted the Nuggets at the beginning of the season, right? Yeah, I think we did. I think we got who they were playing against incorrect. Like I chose the Celtics. Right. I don't think anyone chose the Heat, but yeah. So congrats to us there. But the final quiz show question is based on the NBA Finals. According to PWCC, which player in the finals, so either on the Nuggets or the Heat, had the highest sale volume of sports cards over the last 12 months? Okay. Number 1 is, I think it's kind of easy. So the question is, who's number 2? But who do you think number 1 is?
In the finals?
Yeah.
Heat and thing?
Heat and Nuggets.
Right.
Number 1 player with the highest sales volume of sports cards over the last 12 months.
Oh, last 12 months.
I mean, I feel like it's Jamal Murray because he would have more cards.
Joker's won, no?
Joker's won, yeah.
Oh,
Nikola Jokic is one. Yeah.
Joker's won.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe he doesn't have that many cards.
Yeah, that's true. I was.
It's a combination of volume and like how much it actually sells for, right?
Oh,
like this
okay.
Sales volume in dollars. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. So I should have clarified that. But Nikola Jokic, sales volume over the last 12 months, 855,000. Number 2 is at 475,000. So 40.
And you said it's kind of surprising.
It's kind of surprising to me. It is
right because Jimmy
Kyle
Butler,
Lowry,
Jamal Murray and Jimmy Butler was kind of playoff. They're like playoff heroes. So I'd imagine their volume is moving during the playoffs, not during the regular season.
What about?
I like John's deduction.
What about Tyler Hero?
Okay,
Tyler Hero. Okay.
In.
Who else is there?
I'll give you the guys in the on that list. So Tyler Hero, you mentioned, he is on that list. Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray,
Bam.
Jimmy Butler, you guys mentioned, and Bam Adebayo. Yeah, those are the top.
Right.
So Will saying Tyler.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go off on a ledge. Yeah, we're just butchering phrases today.
Sounds about right, but at the same time doesn't sound right.
I feel
that's
yeah. I don't know if a Bam would move that much because he's the big guy. I could see Tyler Hero. I'm gonna go the other side. Even though he was dirt cheap, I'm gonna say MPJ. Maybe he moved a lot more than I thought. Actually, wait, hang on. $450,000. No, hang on.
is there that much buying and selling of MPJ?
Okay, I'm gonna go with Bam.
Bam?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna go with Bam.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with number 6. Okay? $137,000 of sales volume. Number 6 is Bam Adebayo. You got to go with your gut, John.
No kidding.
Number 5 is with $165,000 in sales volume, Jimmy Butler.
Ooh.
Okay. Number 4,
still alive.
$178,500. Our Canadian boy representing Kitchener, Jamal Murray. Number 3, with $391,000, Michael Porter Jr.
Oh.
So, Will, number 2, Tyler Hero, $475,000.
1 for 5.
Boom.
This is the hardest quiz show in the hobby. All right, so it should just be an honor to be able to play.
I'm surprised Hero moved that much.
Yeah.
Well, like Hero, he had his moments in the hobby,
that's
right?
true.
But and he had a pretty good season until he got injured.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure people were like back on. Oh, Hero's back, so I could see it. But that being said, I was kind of surprised he was number 2 behind Jokic. All right, we'll do it again. I like this quiz show format.
That was awesome.
Kind of fun too.
I like
Learn
it when
more
I'm
about the
listening.
sales.
I like it when I'm listening on the road and not participating.
Someone else on the road is shouting.
Yeah.
We'll be shouting at you guys.
You idiot, Will.
All right. With that, let's go to our final segment, our final weekly segment we call Pick One. And this is where each of us will put up 2 cards, and then we'll debate which one we would rather invest in. All right. So, Johnny, do you want to go first?
Yeah. So we're going to go with 2 players that we have no business talking about, but I'm sure some listeners have been dying for us to chime in on a little bit on these guys. The 2 main PSA 10 refractors of each player, like their quote unquote rookie cards, I believe so. We're going to go Erling Haaland, 2019 Topps Chrome Bundesliga, PSA 10 refractor, a pop count of 137, last sold for 2,700, versus Max Verstappen, 2020 Topps Chrome, refractor PSA 10, a pop of 210, last sold for 960.
Ooh.
So I feel like Erling Haaland would generally be the easier answer, but now we're talking money, right? 2,700 versus 960. Pop counts are, relatively similar,
Low.
give or take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is simple. I don't get F1. I watched season 1 of the Netflix show, and it was okay, but I'm not there. Yeah, and Holland's a beast. Like you get to actually watch soccer players do things like with racer, like F1. It's like they're just in the car with a helmet. You don't really get their you don't get a sense of who they are and what they look like and all that. So I'm gonna go with soccer.
Some F1 fans are probably screaming at you right now.
I know. I'm gonna get DMs after this episode.
Well, I was gonna make a backhanded
Will
statement about hockey players too, but I chose not to. It's like hockey players they don't get any love because nobody knows what they look like underneath their helmets. And then when they take off their helmets, it's just like mustaches and what's that awful haircut? Mullets. It's just mullets everywhere.
And broken teeth.
Send all your reviews and comments to 5 Card Guys.
You know what? I'll go. I would like to say before I decide, I would like to say I respect all F1 drivers, and what they do is really difficult. And
100%.
But you know what? I'm going to go with Erling Haaland as well. I know the price is almost $3,000, but I don't know. I think F1, it's kind of come and gone to me. I even saying that, I'm gonna get,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get messages, and I hope that as a sport it continues to grow. But it feels like in North America at least, and in local card shows, I just don't see as many even a year and a half ago. Do you know what I mean? Right. Whereas soccer cards, you still see them around. I still see them around. So, soccer's more international. I know they're both international, but soccer more so, in my opinion. And then on top of that, Haaland's like Will say, he's a beast. With Man City, they've won everything that they can this year, and I think that's only good for the Haaland soccer card market. So yeah, I'll pony up to get the Haaland card.
Yep, it's gonna be a Haaland sweep. This is I'm kind of with you guys. I feel like Verstappen. We talked about this before, when you don't know what to collect in a certain sport, there are main characters, and certainly Verstappen is the up and coming main character. This guy's winning week in and week out. Even if you're an absolute casual sports fan, you will see a headline of him winning every week. I mean, he was just in Montreal, right? Didn't he? He was just in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
But even still, I do feel like, and maybe, as much as we may get flack from F1 fans that listen to the show, it's a little clue. It's small sample size, just the 3 of us and a bunch of Canadians, but a small sample size of how a casual sports fan is starting to feel about F1. And I'm with you guys. I feel like F1 it was on the main stage, and it was, pounding his chest as one of the main collectible sports within the hobby. And I think it's now starting to revert back to a niche sport. And as much as Max Verstappen is the main guy to collect, he is now a main guy to collect within a niche sport. And I feel like it's going to kind of revert back to that. So in terms of potential, I still think, soccer is soccer. It's going to become and stay one of the top sports globally, right? So I think this is a time where you do pony up and you go for the Erling Haaland instead of the Verstappen. So yeah, I'm with you guys.
Yeah. Haaland sweep. Good one. All right. Well, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay. So in honor of the NBA draft, which is happening tonight, the night of our recording, a few days before this gets released, which I don't know if I'm popping any bubbles, Clark. People know we pre-record, right?
Yep. Not a secret.
Okay, good. So in honor, I guess, because sometimes you guys would have predictions of who's going to win the NFC East or who's going to win the wild card NFL. And then I'm and you're I feel really good about this team. And then they get shellacked. And then you're oh, guess we were wrong that one. Anyway. So my pick one in honor of the NBA draft. Bowman Chrome University just got released this past year, and there's a prospects auto, for us baseball guys, prospect autos got released for these NBA players. So originally I was gonna put who I thought the number 1 and number 2 picks were gonna be. So it's gonna be the Bowman Chrome Gold Refractor Auto out of 50 of Victor Wembanyama versus the gold auto of Scoot Henderson. And the Scoot Henderson sold for, somewhere between, let's say, $400 to $700. But the Wemby sold for between $5,400 to $6,000. So let's just do a round number of 10x to 15x of what Scoot's card is. But Brandon Miller got drafted 2nd overall.
Right.
So we could throw him in. You could do a pick. You could pick Wemby Or you could pick the number 2 and number 3 pick. The Brandon Miller gold auto sold for $200. So almost
so less sexy for sure.
Yeah, even less. Yeah,
Anderson.
and then I was like, you know what? This is so like Wemby's so much worth so much more. So I was like, oh, like what if we threw Caitlin Clark into this because she's also in that product, and her gold auto is like 600 to 900. So I know it's supposed to be 1v1, but it's almost like 1v3. Like who are you picking? A $6,000 Wemby gold, or like you pony up like $1,500 and you can have a Scoot, Brandon Miller, and Caitlin Clark.
Yep.
Yeah.
There are two risk plays at here, right? There's one, you're taking a risk whether Bowman University Chrome is going to actually become a thing, right? Is this just a flash in the pan, or is it here to stay? Is it going to turn into like Bowman First Baseball? I don't know. I personally don't think so, but who knows? It's been pretty popular. And then number 2, you're prospecting to see is Wembanyama going to become, is he worth $5,000? Is he like a next generational LeBron kind of player? Versus Scoot Henderson, I think is going to become a really solid NBA player. Is he going to become like Ja Morant? I don't see it, right? But he's certainly like a freak of nature athlete. So for me, it's very easy. I'm picking the Scoot side because it's a lot less money to lose. It's just strictly, I'm like, mitigating my losses, and it's going to be that side because I think the $5,000-$6,000 mark is way too risky.
What if it was you had to buy 4 of each
to equal $5,000? Oh man, I think even still, this might sound crazy, but I'm still gonna pick because at that point, it's the same money, but you're hedging, right? So you're gonna take your risk on Scoot and Brandon Miller, and any one of them could explode. Maybe Scoot or Brandon Miller come out firing and they drop like 2 games in a row, 35 points, and all of a sudden his card bounces up, right? So I'd rather hedge my risk for sure.
But are you saying buying the same player?
Hypothetically, you have to buy 4 Scoots, 4 Brandon Millers, and 4 Caitlin Clarks to make up the price of that one Wemby gold.
Yeah.
I'm just screwing with the whole idea. Just messing with you, Clark.
Well, I appreciate that because I know where you're coming from, because I feel like it's an easy one for me as well. Like I'm choosing the side Johnny chose because it's such a premium right now to get a Wemby card. That's like a lot of hype for a guy who had never played an NBA game yet, and I know he could be amazing, right? But it isn't like there's zero concerns about Wemby, like his length and how skinny he is still, and how is he gonna manage in the NBA? All these questions. So I'm gonna choose Scoot, that side. Scoot, Brandon Miller, Caitlin Clark. You wanna add anyone else to that side?
I mean, I should have just said every other card
in the Bowman Chrome U,
because the only thing holding up Bowman Chrome U retail pricing is Wemby's cards, right?
But you know what?
Yeah, you're gonna say.
Listen, how about this? If you had to choose like one of those players, okay, let's just stick with Scoot.
Yeah.
All right. You just had to. Do you choose Wemby for $5,000, or on the other side, you pick Scoot, but you gotta like buy that many number of cards to add up to $5,000. Just Scoot. Yeah, it's like, who do I believe in more?
Yeah.
So actually, that's where I was gonna go with my thing. Kind of the reason I was bringing this up is because, like, we've been talking about Wemby for a long time, and we're excited about it. Even in the group chat, we're throwing different things Wemby did. Like, I posted Wemby's first pitch, and I said how awful it was, and how he has very strong bust potential after seeing that first pitch. It's like so unathletic. But then I was like, I saw a picture of him holding the baseball.
Yeah,
and it looks like. It's like when you hold like a ping pong ball.
Yeah, you're throwing a golf ball.
Yeah, it makes no sense like how big his hand is. But my whole thing in bringing this up is, I don't know if I'm just always like the type of guy that roots for the underdog. Yeah, maybe that's what I am. I don't like when someone's like a clear-cut front runner. I always root for the underdog. And so I'm just like, maybe I'm not sold on Wemby. And I kind of liked Scoot Henderson's kind of like his makeup, his personality, his attitude when they had that matchup. Like he didn't shy away. And so I don't know. I've been feeling Scoot Henderson a little bit more. I saw Brendan Miller's draft interview, and I thought, wow, like it was he seems like a really good dude. So I'm also on the team everyone else. And I'm kind of concerned. I feel like Wemby has some strong bust potential.
Right. I think
just because of his first pitch.
Right. I think even if you just look at this logically, whether or not you believe Scoot is I don't think this is even a question of whether you believe Scoot is the better prospect. Even numbers wise, it just makes sense because Scoot, his prices are low enough because he's going under the radar, and he could come out. He doesn't even need to drop 3 games of 30 points. He could drop 25 points, but a couple of them could be crazy highlight reel, windmill dunk on and he catches a body and like game over, right? And then people are like, oh, this guy's crazy. I think there's potential for his card to go from 300 to 600. You know what I'm saying? But Wemby, like at $5,000-$6,000, like what does he have to do for that card to go to $8,000? Like he's got to, what does he have to, it's already baked in, like him scoring 30 points and doing a step back 3 and blocking 6 shots. All of that is already baked in. I don't know what he could do out of the gates to make that card go crazy. Like I think it's already crazy enough. So I think money wise, or just even if you're just strictly looking at it financial with taking the names out of it, it makes every sense in the world to pick Scoot because there's just I feel like there's just potential for the money for it to go up.
But this is what we said about Shohei a few months earlier.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Like, this is how we reason to ourselves. There's no way Shohei could go up anymore. Like, he already had his MVP season. And then it's like he had like another MVP season before. Oh, was he MVP last year?
No,
Aaron Judge.
Oh, Judge.
Year before.
But Shohei was like second, right?
I think it's runner up.
Yeah, and then this year he's up. He's
gonna win.
Yeah, he's gonna win.
Sure.
3 years of either first or second. And like if Wemby like comes in and he has 5 blocks a game, it's like
if he puts Jokic numbers.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be that high on the assists, but like his offensive package is strong, right? Like he has like these Kevin Durant style shooting and fadeaways and touch and all of that. So
yeah,
I don't know, John. Maybe next year we're all over.
I don't even see him as Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was nasty coming in. I don't even see him as Kevin Durant. He's not as
harsh.
He's not good because Kevin Durant's quick. He's like tall and he's quick. Like, and you just can't stop him. He's like he's an unstoppable force.
Wemby's got the handles, man.
He does
his spider arms,
but
he's also 7'5".
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see in the NBA. We'll see what he does.
He literally only needs 2 steps to go from half court to dunking the ball.
Yeah, but also in midair, if Draymond shoves him with an elbow, he's going to go flying into the crowd.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I was just going to add, I'm not choosing Brandon Miller because, did you hear his GOAT, the guy he chose for his GOAT? It's Paul George over MJ and LeBron. Right, yeah. I think I get what he means, though. He watched Paul George more than anyone else. So
he looks like he has a very similar frame, right? So
yeah. Okay, let's finish off the show with my pick 1. Speaking of Shohei, his the one where he looks like a crane, that Bowman Chrome base rookie autograph BGS 9.5 sold for just over $7,000, I believe, $7,200, and I'm gonna put that up against Mike Trout, his teammate, his 2009 Bowman Chrome first auto BGS 9.5 sold for $7,000. So let's just say $7,000 for both. Who are you gonna choose? Which Angels player are you going to choose? Shohei or Mike Trout?
Do we know rough pop.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me get that for you. I believe I put it there. Oh no, I don't have it. I could find out, but yeah.
That's probably.
What are your initial thoughts? 2018 Bowman Chrome versus 2009 Bowman Draft. Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I'm on the Shohei bandwagon. He's gonna be the greatest of all time by the end of it.
Oh man.
Mike Trout, BGS 9.5, 364 pop count. I don't know about the BGS 9.5 Shohei. Doesn't show on Card Ladder.
Earlier I said I'm not having FOMO over Shohei. I'm just more having regret. I think hypothetically we're talking about if we had $7,000, what would you spend money on? I guess I do have FOMO because I really do want the Shohei as well. And I'm with Will. Like I am a firm believer that he could go. Like skill, the combination of skill and utility. Like he is already the greatest. Like I don't know who has this. No one's had this. That's why they call him the unicorn, right? Like no one's had this kind of combination. Now it's just a matter of upkeeping the career and not getting injured, and we could be seeing something amazing. So, I mean, yeah, conventionally or logically speaking, it makes sense to pick the Trout because we're talking about super high price, a little bit ballooned hype, and Mike Trout is kind of like a pretty good low. I don't know if it's a low buy, but it's a pretty good buy right now for Mike Trout. So in that sense, without taking the emotions out, I think it makes sense for the Mike Trout. But I am gonna FOMO here, and I'm gonna be like Will, and I'm gonna be completely on the Shohei train, and thinking that this guy could go down as one of the, if not the greatest. Let's go Shohei.
Wow. Okay. I think you guys are impacted by a recency bias.
I think before you say your thing, Clark, I think the image also plays into it for me. Like I'm always about like the look of the card,
right?
Like
Fair
that's
enough.
why I don't like prospect cards because they look terrible. And if you look at these two cards, like one is his the Trout one is his prospect card, but the Shohei one is his actual rookie card, right? So you get to see him in the logo in his jersey.
It's so true.
I think that Shohei pose, like that thing is iconic.
Yeah, no, it is for
And
sure.
Will doesn't have to hate on him like Bowman first. And
yeah, exactly.
And a little leaguer with like a
it's
big
not
helmet.
photoshopped. Yeah, exactly.
There's a grown man in that picture.
Yeah.
I hear you. Okay. But like I was saying, the recency bias, come on, guys. Like, Mike Trout is the right answer here. I'm going with Mike Trout.
Probably right.
The war.
Probably right.
The war, he's not having, the season we expected, but he still has 15 home runs and, he's still not injured. That's a good thing for Mike Trout this year. For me, I'm like, I just wanted to play a full season. That'll be a very big step forward and, something he could build on for next year, whatever happens to the Angels. So Mike Trout doing well, getting his WAR numbers up, making a historical case for one of the best players of all time in MLB. Quietly, his teammate for sure, Shohei, is taking all the limelight this year, but you can't deny Trout's statistics over his entire career, and doesn't look like he's going to slow down anytime soon if he stays healthy. So I love that Mike Trout card. BGS 9.5 at 7,000 seems like a good buy. Once peaked at just over 35,000. So good opportunity there. So
can't blame
I'll
you.
break the sweep and go with Mike Trout. All right, another great show, guys. Thanks, Will, for joining, and hopefully you can join next week while Hyung is still competing in New York City. But to all our listeners and subscribers, we appreciate you guys as well. And as always, if you can spend a minute just to give us a good review, we would appreciate that. So we'll see you next week for a brand new episode on Tuesday. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening to Cards to the Moon. We'd really appreciate you subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And you can also connect with each of us on Instagram at 5Card Guys, or you can follow Hyung at Integrity Sports Cards, or John at TradeU at Recess. You can also check us out at 5cardguys.com. Thanks again, and hope to connect soon.